Howdy folks. I'm sure some of you pump and low cap players like myself have wondered what is the best non-motorized hopper and how they stack up against each other. So I picked up a bunch of different gravity hoppers to test them out and see how they stacked up against each other. I will be separating the hoppers and feeds into 4 different categories: 200 round, 100 round, 50 round, and less than 20 rounds. Of course, I needed a control to measure everything up against, so I grabbed one of my regular gravity hoppers and tested that one first. Now keep in mind, gravity hoppers feed at different rates depending on how much paint is left in them. A 200 round hopper will feed slow at the beginning and speed up significantly towards the end when there's more room for the paint to move around. I filled each hopper up to the point where they were considered full, but yet had enough room for the paint to freely move around. Let's start off with the 200 round hoppers. I have my basic hopper, which is my control, the Empire Splitter, and the Proto Primo. The regular 200 round gravity hopper was filled to 190 balls and took on average 22.2 seconds to empty, which gave us an average feed rate of 8.6 balls per second. The Empire Splitter hopper may be rated 200 rounds, but I was only able to fit 160 rounds in a hopper before it was too full. It took on average 17.6 seconds to empty, giving an average feed rate of 9.1 balls per second. Not bad for a $10 gravity hopper. The Proto Primo is rated 200 rounds and was filled with 190 balls. It took on average 23.4 seconds to empty, giving an average feed rate of only 8.1 balls per second. Now here I was a bit shocked. The Proto was beaten by a gravity hopper. So I redid the test for both hoppers several more times and got the same results. But I did notice one thing. The standard hopper was slow to feed at the beginning, but increased in feed rate substantially when it was over halfway empty. However, the Primo maintained a constant feed rate throughout the drop test regardless of how much paint was in a hopper. Still, the overall winner was the Empire Splitter as it had the faster feed rate, and it still maintained a nice consistent feed rate throughout the entire test. Now let's jump to the 100 round capacity hoppers. I picked the Tippmann Multical and the GOG Multical. The Tippmann Multical was filled to 100 rounds and took on average 14 seconds to empty, which gave us an average feed rate of 7.1 balls per second. The GOG Multical was filled to 100 rounds and took on average 8.6 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 11.6 frickin' balls per second. I had to retest this again because there was no way that a bloody gravity hopper can outstrip the Splitter or the Primo. But sure enough, when I redid my test, I came up with about the same results. Now for the pocket hoppers that hold 40 to 50 rounds. I decided to pick up hoppers that were both in production and out of production, as you can find the older ones on the used market pretty easily. So I have the APP Mini Sight Feeder, the Winchester Hopper, Brass Eagle Pocket Hopper, PMI Ammo Box, Paintball DNA Geoff Box, and the GXG Pocket Hopper. I was able to fill the sight feeder to 55 rounds while still having plenty of room for the paint to roll around, and it took on average 11.4 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 4.8 balls per second. The Winchester Hopper was able to be filled to 55 rounds as well, and took on average 9.8 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 5.6 balls per second. The Brass Eagle Pocket Hopper was filled to 50 rounds and took on average 10.2 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 4.9 balls per second. The ammo box was filled to 45 rounds and took on average 11.6 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 3.8 balls per second. The Geoff box was filled to 45 rounds and took on average 10 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 4.5 balls per second. The GXG Pocket Hopper was filled to 35 rounds and took on average 19.6 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of an abysmal 1.7 balls per second. Yes, you heard me right. 1.7 balls per second. I didn't bother retesting this, as halfway through the test I actually started to shake it every half second just to get it to frickin' feed. No matter how much paint was in it, it fed slow. This test showed me the reason why the Winchester pocket hoppers are commanding a premium price nowadays. They are the fastest pocket hoppers and are perfect for pump players, closely followed by the APP Sight Feeder, Brass Eagle Pocket Hopper, and Paintball DNA G-Off Box. Don't bother with that GXG Pocket Hopper. Freaking wasted $5. Finally, we have the micro hoppers and stick feeds. The Paintball DNA G-Off Micro, Paintball DNA Stick Feed, and Paintball DNA Cram and Jam. These are all 3D printed feeds, but are built very well. The G-Off Micro was filled to 15 rounds and took on average 4.4 seconds to empty, giving an average feed rate of 3.4 balls per second. That's not bad for an itty bitty hopper. The stick feed was filled to 14 rounds and took on average 0.62 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 22.6 balls per second. The Cram and Jam was fitted with a full 10 round tube and took on average 0.4 seconds to empty, giving us an average feed rate of 22.7 balls per second. The advantages of stick feeds are apparent by the numbers given. Since they already have the paint lined up and ready to go, there is no delay in feed time and gravity does the rest for you. Small micro hoppers like the G-Off Micro will suffer from a slower feed rate, but have that amazing advantage of a super small profile. And there you go. So as a recap, the fastest feeding 200 round gravity hopper is the Empire Splitter. Fastest feeding 100 round hopper was the GOG Multi-Cal. Fastest feeding 50 round hopper was a Winchester hopper. And the fastest feeder with under 20 rounds in it were the stick feeds. I'll have the links in the description to where you can find these hoppers so you can pick one up yourself. Just don't pick up that GXG pocket hopper. That thing sucks. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you on the field.